Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Winback, and on today's episode we're going to be playing the coolest angel of the group. Her name is Auriel. Yes, I know who I'm comparing her to. And she is a healer. She is the most fun healer of the entire group, and I'm going to do my best to give you the skinny on how to play the character. We are on Dragonshire today, the solo lane up top. Hopefully there will be some rotations between the mid and bottom, but I'm not making any promises to myself or getting my hopes up. Because Auriel is the Archangel of Hope. This is a YouTube video after all, so feel free to like, comment, and subscribe your heart out. We are in the middle of Healer Week this week, and we'll be diving into something new next week, even if I haven't figured out what that's going to be. But I'm sure will happen upon a hero that you want to see, and we'll tell you the easiest ways to play those characters, or maybe some off-meta ways to play those characters as well. Ooh. The team comps today are the Dead Tychus, Junkrat, Arthas, Auriel, and Nova versus Greymane, Illidan, Anduin, Genji, and Stitches. The enemy team has a much better comp for Dragonshire, and the fact that we have our Nova means that we don't have a dedicated offlane, which is going to make this whole shebang much more difficult than it needs to be. Tychus seems like he's going to be the one to go off lane. Nova's just going to be doing a rotation between all of the lanes all the times, trying to help stuff happen. Arthas is going to hold the middle lane, because why else would he do anything beyond that? And Junkrat's going to hold down the bottom lane, while I rotate between those two, trying to keep them alive. I'm never going to go to the top lane, because the top lane is useless in Dragonshire, and if you haven't learned that lesson by now, please take this as gospel. The off lane in Dragonshire should never, ever, ever garner any attention from your team or the enemy team. If the enemy team is sending people up there to attack the offlaner, that person should not be dying, and you should be getting more stuff happening on the map in the other two lanes. Mid is important because it's right in front of the dragon. The further out your enemy team's buildings are pushed in mid means the more space that you have to prevent them from getting a dragon or defending your dragon. And bottom lane has enough camps in it to legitimately end the game. So I'm trying to get around these guys. They can't body block me well enough, and we're going to make it out fine. Stitch is coming down from the top lane. Looks like he was having fun up there. Junkrat holding down the bottom shrine just fine. So it's taken me a little bit to get to this point, but Auriel and her abilities are a little bit more complex than other healers, so we'll try to make it as easy as possible. But our trait is called Bestow Hope, and it's got a 1.5 second cooldown that I didn't even realize. But 60% of the damage Auriel deals to heroes and 20% of the damage dealt to non-heroes is stored as energy. You can see our energy bar down here. It goes up to 579 at the moment. We can also use our activatable D key to put a hat on a character, and we're going to get 30% of the damage that they deal to heroes as energy, and then we're going to get, I think it's 10%? 10% of the damage that they deal to everything else as energy. So Auriel plus her hat target get 90% of the damage that they do turned into energy that Auriel is then going to use to fuel her ability to heal, which is her W. It's called Ray of Heaven. It's on a 4-second cooldown. It's going to consume however much energy Auriel has, and is going to heal whoever we target with the ability. So the AoE for the ability is a skill shot. You can use the Alt-W combination to cast it directly on yourself, or you can pick someone at range, or a clump of people at range to hit with your heal. It's really, really strong. The range is really very, very good. And then the fact that it's an AoE heal, that's potentially burst healing every time that you use it, depending on the amount of damage that you and your battery are doing. Battery meaning your hat target. I mean, you can see just how effective that ability is. It's really insanely strong. It's actually had to be nerfed quite a few times because the cooldown used to be much shorter. And if you had an extremely efficient battery like a Gul'dan or a Mephisto or something to that effect, you would get an energy bar filled up so fast that you can just heal so often on such a short cooldown. There was really no killing anybody if they had an Auriel on their team. It's pretty nuts. Knocking back the Genji, so the Junkrat gets away with 80 health. Oh my god. If ever you need to feel good about saving people as a healer, Auriel is the way to do it. Now, our other two abilities, our Q number 1 is called Sacred Sweep. It's on an 8-second cooldown. We're going to sweep an area, and we're going to deal 55 damage to enemies in the big area. The ability also has a center area, which is going to deal extra damage. That is going to equate to 219 damage to the center area of the sweep. It's fantastic. It's really, really good for damage and charging up your own bar. The same thing can be said, though, about Detainment Strike, which is our E. We're going to deal 78 damage, and then we're going to knock the character that we hit back. After they have been hit back, if they get hit by any terrain, like you saw Stitches there, they're going to take an additional 235 damage, and they're going to be stunned by 1.25 seconds. Now, this ability not only is very good at follow-up CC, but just engaging, especially in like tight chokes or small areas with a lot of walls like Dragonshire has. You can just line up a 1.25 second stun, which is nuts, considering Tyrande only has a 0.75 second follow-up stun. I mean, fucking hit me with it. Auriel fucks with that stun. Now, our level 10 talents, we have two. The one that we're going to be building in this video, and you can see me debate it here for ages, but it's Resurrect. The reason that I'm taking Resurrect is because mainly I want to give it a try, because I really don't give it the time of day, but I think it's a very easy ability to use, and I think it's going to be very strong for a player coming to Auriel for the first time, to figure her out, to have some fun. Resurrect is going to bring a character back to life after they've died, and Auriel can also use this ability on herself now. But when she uses the ability, when you click on someone, it's going to take 5 seconds for the hero to come back to life, and then they're going to have 100% of their health back by the time that happens. You might get to see a Resurrect happen right now. Healing ourselves with the W. Only 30 seconds left to go. I have no idea what Greymane jumped on there, because his animation and everything went off, but I lived. What? Anyway, Resurrect can essentially take instances where a player goes in for a one-on-one trade, like a one-for-one trade, and they can turn it, or we can turn it into a one-for-nothing trade. It's basically a numbers ult. So you want to take Resurrect and create numbers advantages for your team, but you don't want to be this sad asshole who resurrects a teammate in the middle of the enemy team just to die again. If you really, really need a good example, if your tank runs in and dies in the middle of the enemy team while the rest of the team is trying to leave him, if you resurrect him, he's going to die again, and the enemy team is going to be 100% ready for it, because the rest of your bitch team does not want to go in and die with him. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm sure you may have witnessed it up to this point somewhere. Possibly. I'm dead now. I'm going to be killed by the hunt. They have taken me. Tychus is aiming at something off in the distance. Don't know why our tank is in the middle lane, or why he is going to the top lane. We've already talked about how stupid the top lane is, and how useless it is. It's just for soaking XP, people. If you don't know that lesson by now, I'm really scared that you'll ever learn it. Arthas also trying to get a fountain or some shit. I don't even fucking know, man. Like, anyway, we're running towards him, trying to get over there to help him out. Nova got the kill on Illidan, so obviously Arthas needs to turn around, and there's Genji, ready to just slay them both with the Dragon Blade. If they had just left, I wouldn't have to use my ult on Nova, because using it on Arthas seems like a horrible decision. Back to the build, though, since, well, I guess we could talk about Crystal Aegis, because it is the better ultimate, and I'm going to be honest with you, it is just an ice block that you give to a teammate that does some damage once it's over. Obviously, Auriel gets all the energy from, not all the energy, but she gets energy from the explosion of the Crystal Aegis after it goes off. He unstoppable through my whip. Ugh. I can only save you so much. I mean, really. And I've already used my Resurrect on Nova, who's going to join us in death. So, lots of really poor decisions coming out from the friendly team this game. It's kind of munka. But anyway, the Crystal Aegis, like I said, it gives your teammate an ice block. However, it cannot be canceled early, and they have no control over it. So, a lot of what you're going to see with this ability, if you're trying it out for the first time, or if you're starting to play Auriel for the first time, you can Crystal Aegis someone into certain death. Now, if they have like 20% health, when they come out of that Crystal Aegis, if you don't have a big heal for them, they're going to eat a whole bunch of damage because the enemy team can see very clearly where they are, and they are going to be sitting still, which is not great for anybody who wants to avoid taking damage. Same thing can be said about Resurrect, though, because if the enemy team is paying any attention to where the person being resurrected is, they can get that kill. I don't know why we're chasing so hard. Stitch is in the top lane getting XP still. We're not. Junkrat finally on his way back. Not sure why Arthas popped his ult there. Who knows? But there you have it. I mean, Resurrect is just simpler because it takes all of the split-second decision-making out of the equation, whereas Crystal Aegis gives you a lot more power to block a lot of incoming damage, keeping a teammate safe in an instance where they might just get popped, and it's on a much shorter cooldown. The cooldown for Resurrect is 100 seconds, and Crystal Aegis is only 60 seconds. So that 40-second difference can mean huge differences in team fights and keeping people alive. Like right there, could have Crystal Aegis Junkrat, and he would have lived, and Illidan would not have gone through with the hunt. But instead, we have to resurrect him, hope that he gets out, and then hope that we ourselves can make it out while Arthas is trying to run interference. Hopefully Arthas doesn't also die, because Nova died and I can't resurrect everybody. I mean, why are you still here? There are so many people ready to just kill your ass. We don't have any damage for this. Tychus is pushing the bottom fort. Thank you. We have realized it's time to go. I guess not. I spoke far too soon. We need to talk about the build, though, because I haven't touched on that, and it's already level 16. Level 1 is going to be Swift Sweep. We're going to increase the cast speed of Sacred Sweep by 50%. Every time that you've seen me queue this game, I have had the speed up by 50%, so imagine that 50% slower, and then tell me that you're not putting yourself in imminent danger by not picking this talent. You do basically root yourself when using your Q, and it's kinda awful if it's slow. So always take the speed up. The quest isn't worth it. The extra damage really isn't worth it there. Searing Light is a fucking meme talent, and the only other thing I could see really working out is the cooldown reduction, so do that if you have to. Our level 4 talent is a quest. It's called Repeated Offense, and baseline, it is going to increase the amount of distance that we knock people back with our E by 25%. In doing that, it's so much easier. Damn, Nova, that was fucking good. She hit her 1 key as soon as she landed off of the hook. So if Stitches had gone for a Gorge, even though he didn't have it, he would have eaten the clone, which is fantastic. Really brilliant stuff from that Nova there. I'm going to remember that trick. But anyway, so the 4 talent Detainment Strike, that increased knockback distance is going to make landing it easier, and once you complete the quest, you get 250 bonus damage off of that ability when you're knocking them into walls. Okay, well, luckily we have Resurrect ready, so that 1-for-1 trade just became a 1-for-nothing trade. Oof. Genji going to get away with less than 100 health. Really unfortunate stuff, but still making the enemy team feel that death. Now, the 250 bonus damage on our E is insanely strong, because not only are we getting that extra damage in the form of energy, but the ability itself is already doing 111 plus 300, no, 116 plus 348, 448, 458, 464. 464 damage on a single E, all by its lonesome, and then we're going to tack on 250 damage to that. So we're doing anywhere from 6 to 800 extra damage depending on the level, which is nuts. And that is a shitload of energy for Auriel. And I'm sure I don't need to tell you why that's important. Our level 7 talent's called Energized Cord. This is going to increase the energy stored from Auriel's basic attacks to 120%, and the damage against heroes... for the damage against heroes, and 55% of the damage against non-heroes is going to change to 55% from 30%. So, our basic attacks become another way for us to get a lot of energy, whereas it's usually from our abilities on our battery that's the easiest way to get it back prior to there. So having basic attacks as a backup for your battery is really, really good, really important, really strong. Because Auriel's basic attacks normally just don't hit for shit, and there's no reason to ever get in range to use them. Empathic Link is also okay, especially when you want to put your hat more on tanks than you want to do DPS, but at the same time, it's usually just better to hat DPS. So, in this case, even putting it on Arthas, he's the only one really up there dealing damage. Tychus is just shooting the building, so it's kind of like, whatever. Consistent damage is hard to come by, especially in quick match when nobody knows who needs to be doing what. Our level 13 talent is called Blinding Flash. The 13 tier for Auriel is a little bit situational in that your Blinding Flash is only good for blinding people, and only if you hit them with the center of the ability. So, since we have the increased cast speed on the ability itself, we are going to be able to much more efficiently hit our center Q casts on characters like Genji and Illidan and Greymane. Even Stitches and Anduin to some extent do basic attack damage, so us blinding them for 2 seconds is pretty good. That being said, the other thing that we can take here is Piercing Lash. Piercing Lash is going to pierce everything that we hit with our E, and it's going to reduce the cooldown by 2 seconds for each hero hit. So, if we manage to hit multiple people with our E, especially if they go into the wall like that Genji, my god, did you see the setup there? The cooldown reduction from our E is going to be fucking insane, and we're going to be able to get more and more damage out of our E just as a kind of a battery ability. I don't know what we could do for him. I'm never going to resurrect him all the way over there, so I'll see you in 56 seconds, Arthas. Yeah, but the 13 talent tier for Auriel is really good. Converging Force, even to some extent, is going to be decent. Converging Force is going to displace people hit by the ability, so I mean you could technically interrupt some stationary channels with it. And it's also going to be very good if you take the level 1 talent for the cooldown reduction, because you have to hit people in the center, and you can just kind of shove people towards the center with your Q. So, guaranteed cooldown reduction. Pretty good. At 16, our talents are going to be, again, really up to you and your team comp and what works best. Yeah, in the game that you need. So, you have the option to, ignoring this top one, Wrath of Heaven is going to give 10% spell power to your hat target. Will of Heaven is going to get 20% attack speed to that hat target. And then Reservoir of Hope is going to do neither, but the questing talent is going to increase your energy storage every time that you heal someone at maximum energy. Now you can see we've already increased it by a pretty decent amount. We've got 750 bonus storage currently. I'm dead. Luckily, I have my Resurrect going, and my enemy team here is so incredibly just ignoring me on the backside. I had 5 seconds to just sit there and come back to life, and they were just like, fuck it. See you later. That being said, they did kill Tychus, so I guess that's kind of bad too. Arthas, you could just walk up or down, buddy. You do not have to go into the Death Cubby. I don't know why you thought that was a good idea. Like, there are towers literally to the north and the south of you that could save your life. What the fuck? Anyway, back to the game. So, our 16 talent, since I don't have anyone on my team I think really benefits from spell power or attack speed, barring maybe Nova. Maybe Nova needs some spell power, but I don't feel like putting my hat on Nova very often, I'm going to be honest with you. So we're going for the increased energy storage, which means I can stack up a lot of bonus energy to give Arthas a lot of big heals. I'm dead. There's no way to save me. Please leave. Oh my god. Now we're all died. Okay, well, at least we got the bottom keep with some catapults, right? I think. We're all leaving too. It's cool. We actually got out of there. Fantastic. Way to turn it around, team. I thought that was much worse than it actually is. It looks like we're going to get an Illidan? Maybe? No Illidan. But plenty of damage on the dragon from our Tychus and his percentage damage from his minigun. Are we finally going to take a kill off the enemy team? Wow, they just left him there to die. Not a single fuck given about their tank. Our level 20 talent is going to be light speed. Now, this is not the best talent at this tier, but this talent is going to be extremely good if you take Resurrect, because they are going to get, the target that gets resurrected gets 200% increased move speed, decaying over 4 seconds, which, when they come back to life, they are very hard to hit because of how fast they're going to be moving. So, as long as you're clicking, or your target is clicking when they're resurrected, it's basically free, get out of jail free card. Get out of jail free, that's the phrase. It's not a free get out of jail, whatever. You know what I mean. When you come back to life, you can move out of the way so fast that the enemy team may actually end up missing a lot of skill shots on you. Not only that, but effectively, the cooldown of this ability is going to be cut in half as long as the target that you've resurrected is alive. Now, if that's yourself, fuck yeah, really easy to keep that going. If it's someone else on your team, maybe a little bit more out of your hands, but the cooldown reduction is really worth it. So the ability recharging twice as fast is going to be super strong. And then you're going to be able to resurrect people more often. You're going to be able to use it in better situations. It's a 100-second cooldown, but as long as the guy that you've resurrected is alive, it's a 50-second cooldown. Can you just wrap your brain around how busted that cooldown is? I'm probably dead here, so what I'm going to do is resurrect myself as soon as the enemy team runs away from me and chases the rest of my team. Anduin getting taken out by Nova, and they are doing exactly what I thought they would, chasing down my Nova and my Arthas, and we're going to use that fucking light speed to get right out. Oh my god, Arthas taking out Genji on the backside. Everybody's splitting their focus on the enemy team. I just don't get it. Kudos to him, though, for keeping me safe while I was resurrecting. And you can see down here our cooldown so fast. Only 50 regular seconds right now if our resurrect target had died. But now it's time to end the game. Please, let's kill the core. There's 4 people dead. I'm a little bit more scared now because Greymane's up in 10 seconds. Anduin's up in 20. It looks like we've got it. I'll try to keep you guys alive as long as I can. And even if we do die, I've got Resurrect. So, not like we were in any trouble, any danger whatsoever. Catapults and minions all upon the core. That's gonna be it. Auriel is 100% the most fun healer for me in the game. And that is just evidenced in her knockback, in her ultimates are so, they both feel so good, especially compared to a character like Tyrande. But her healing, I mean, you can save people so much more efficiently than some other healers. and her damage is pretty good. So, I mean, you'll feel effective in clearing lanes. You'll feel effective in creating stuns and setting up damage and setting up kills. She's just awesome. Oh my god, he went D at level 1. No wonder he needed to slap so many people. He went full Q build. Nice! Way to go, buddy. That's fucking sick. I didn't even notice, but look at you. Look at you go. That's good stuff. The build, again, in case you need it, is going to be Swift Sweep at 1, Repeated Offense at 4, Energized Cord at 7, Resurrect is our 10 talent, Blinding Flash at 13, Reservoir of Hope at 16, and Light Speed at 20. This is a very beginner-centric build. I think it is probably your best bet when you're playing this character if you're just trying to figure her out and see what you want to do. Apart from that, once you start getting more efficient with her, you'll switch over to Crystal Aegis, and you will likely take one of the hat upgrades at 16 instead of Reservoir of Hope. So, all that being said, thank you so much for hanging out. I will see you guys next time. GG. Have yourself a nice night.